Hello, everyone. Welcome to the One Conscious Love Network. I'm here with Jennifer. Jennifer and I met in a networking event that I love. I know you've heard me speak about it before, and that's the Women's in Business. And it's just always awesome to meet beautiful people in this group. And Jennifer and I decided to connect and do an interview, which I'm really happy that you did. And so, Jennifer, please tell everyone who you are and how you shed your light in the world.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me, Melanie. So I am by trade a human resources professional. I've been in HR just under 30 years and have a real love for connecting with managers and employees to help understand the human side of human resources. But out of that came a love for coaching because within HR, you kind of are a natural coach. So I went and got my coaching certification almost a decade ago, I guess, and have been kind of switching my focus to more of a purpose and mindset coaching to help women overcome burnout and imposter syndrome and stress so they can live a conscious life, Melanie. That is really what I want to do in the world. I think we over scroll, overeat, over drink, overdo all the things so we can kind of shelter ourselves from the stress and the burnout and all the things because we can't stop our mind from spinning. And so we just do all the things to just cope. And we could actually live consciously by helping kind of zero in on who we are um, and what we bring to the table, kind of the amazing person we are, and then help with those behaviors of scrolling and kind of avoiding so we can live that conscious life. So that's what I love to bring into the world. It's a little bit about me. I have a family. So I'm married over 22 years. We've got a beautiful young daughter who is going to be graduating this year. And then I've got three stepchildren who are older with three step grandbabies who all live in Canada. We're in Florida, right off the coast in the Panhandle. Yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Froze for a second.
I think it did.
That's so lovely, though. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to have grandkids myself.
Oh, yeah, they're great. We don't get to see them often, but that's okay. We get lots of pictures and see how they are. 'Cause we're in
Yes,
Florida and they're up
yes,
way up north. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So tell us more about this mindset and limit. I mean, I totally know what we're kind of hinting to, but for those that are watching, and particularly those that are not necessarily in realization of what it is that is going through, right? Because that's one of the things with burnout. You don't really realize it until it's maybe a little late,
There.
right?
Yeah. This kind of all came out of a position that I had a couple years ago, more than that, where I got everything I wanted. I got the title and I got the responsibility, and I was on the executive team and I was doing global HR, and it was all great. However, with that, I was the only person, and we were private equity, right? A startup. We bought six companies, and then I was hired to build the HR department and then integrate all six, and I was all by myself. We had,
Mm,
I was traveling all the time. Every time I traveled, I got sick, and it was just it. I asked for help, and I was always denied it. To hire people, I was just doing it all, and I didn't have much support, and so um, about a year and a half in, my boss finally said, you can hire somebody. I was like, yes, this is great, super excited. And then it was about the same time we got our reviews and supposed to get raises, right? And things like that. And he's like, your new hire is your raise. And I was like, huh? And he said, your new hire is your raise. So I didn't chat with him then because there were really thin walls. and I didn't want the whole world to hear. So I went to a conference room and had the conversation, and it didn't go well. I feel like I handled it really well. It was very calm, cool, and collective. However, a seed of doubt was planted that day that
Mm,
I had to prove the job I was being paid to do. And
mm,
that's what led me to start the reset, which is just the frameworks of saying, where I get off course. I didn't lead with my core values. I thought they were faith and family, but if you looked at my life, it was work, work, work. Um, I was trying to be all things to all people to keep them happy, right? Because that's what I thought I had to do to be successful to get that raise. And it was all
mm.
subconscious. It wasn't like I was like, oh, right. But it was
Right.
all these things that added up. So I was thinking I was being authentic, but I wasn't because I wasn't trying to be all things to all people, super people pleasing. Anyway, 4.5 years in, I realized when I reported to the CEO and he's like, we had a restructure and he's like, you fought me this whole way. And I thought, I didn't actually fight you. I spoke up. I didn't agree with it. I thought there was another way, but I didn't fight you. And it clicked like that, oh my gosh, I've been trying to prove a job I've been being paid to do. Like, I went back to
Mm,
my desk and I wrote down 7 pages of all the things I had accomplished in 4.5 years, most by myself and some with the team. And I was like, holy moly, I've been living in this spinning world and it just all accumulated. Like came out of nowhere. It I lost my way. And so the reset, which is what I do, which is a 6 month coaching program, helps women find their way back to who they are. So back to your values, back to who you are authentically, um, back to kind of remembering the gifts and the talents and the abilities, your strengths that you bring to the table. And also, it helps you with your mindset, right? With rewiring neural pathways. So instead of that inner critic always in your ear, wasn't enough. Well, you should have done that too because you yeah, you messed that up again. But that's nowhere. That's you're just you're not good enough, right? Whatever that track is in your brain that it plays. The goal is to discover who you are and then help rewire that negative inner critic to be more of a not really inner cheerleader because we don't want to be fake positive, but we just want to be realistic on who we are and our capability, but also not have that running track in our mind. So that's kind of how I just happened over time. I did not mean it for it to happen at all, but I got really bitter and resentful after that job. It was supposed to be this way, and it ended up being this way. And I was like, how in the world did we end up here? Because it wasn't
mhm,
pretty. And so it was through actually mindset work and rewiring my pathways, allowing myself to pause and kind of hit the reset button to say, what really matters here? How can you look back at that job and say, well, it was an opportunity. You did learn a lot. You got an MBA on the job. You met a lot of cool people. You did so much like cool work for an HR person to add to your resume that's pretty cool. And not look at it bitterly. And so it took a hot minute to kind of rewire that thought process to be like, you know what? Was hard,
mm.
but it was really good of what I got out of it. And now I know what I want to do with my life, which is help other women who might be in the same pattern be able to trust themselves again, be able to speak up without apologizing, being able to say no without feeling guilty about it, rewrite that story in their head that's been
Mhm.
playing for years, probably or decades, feel calmer and grounded to who they really are, more emotionally resilient, and then ultimately creating a life that reflects who they are. So that's what I love. That's what I want to do. That's what I do with my clients now. But we're launching a cohort, a group cohort, which we've done once before, but this will be more of a community base. So we're excited to start that. That's where my heart is. That's what I'm excited about doing.
So beautiful. I mean, to
Mm,
share that. knowledge with others and empower them to live in a reality that's completely
Mm,
different from the reality that they're quote unquote trapped in that they created for themselves, right? And to
yeah,
change that and transform, it's just such a beautiful experience. And I'm
yeah,
sure that people are benefiting so much from that. What are some of the
yeah.
methodologies that you use in your coaching that enables that transformation in people?
Well, yeah, so a lot of neuroscience-backed tools. Um, we the goal is really to figure out who you are first, right? And then we have this thing called My Lead Advantage Compass Report. And so they answer a set of questions, and then we go in and we put together their value statement and their strength statement and an elevator pitch and a personal brand, a confidence statement, if I didn't say that, um, a purpose statement. We put that all together in the language that they use with the words that they give us. And someone told me I need to patent the process. So that's really the first big thing is we discover who they are and we put this
Mhm.
together so they can start rewiring their brain right away because they've been told one thing and they think a different thing, right? And we've got to like say, no, no more. Let's go from here. So we start there. We start slowly rewiring their brain because then they realize, oh, I'm just not good enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough, not this enough. I actually have this strength and this talent, and I give to the world this way. And look at how I'm contributing over here. We start changing that balance, which is beautiful. And then we go into how to think differently. So when we come up against an obstacle or when we come up against a situation or a hardship or life is messy, right? It's not like we always like, oh, when it gets perfect, well, it's not going to be. So in the messiness of life, as we walk through with each other for 6 months, we really can bring those things to light. We look at the limiting beliefs, we look at what's sabotaging them, and then we start breaking it apart and saying, can we think differently? Can we feel differently? Can we? And that's the whole thing. I like the one conscious love, right? Because it's it's now we're bringing the stuff up to the surface so we can deal with it. So we can go, do we need to think about it this way or can we look at it a different way? And then that's just another layer of like, let's pause and let's see, should we respond? Should we react? And if we respond, how can we do that in a different way that's more
Mhm.
aligned with who we are and challenging the beliefs that we think we have? Like we just say, oh, it's this. And you're like, is that really true?
Mhm.
Like I don't have a choice. I have to do it this way. Do you? Do you have to do it that way? Do you have a choice? And kind of questioning that, and then we start unpacking it. And so those are some of the tools we do, but it's all backed in neuroscience because the whole goal is to create lasting change. And so by the end of those 6 months, as we walk with each other through those every week, um, you'll be able to see over time what's possible for your life, what you can do, what you can change and then start living that. So now instead of where you kind of are playing, you may be playing small because you don't think you can do things because of the limiting beliefs, because of the self sabotage, right? Because of the brain spinning and you'd rather just scroll social media or binge watch Netflix. You'll go through a whole transformation when you come out on the other side. You're like, this is what's possible for my life. I don't have to scroll. I don't have to shop. I don't have to overdrink, overeat, over whatever over process because now I know how to process a thought and then figure it out and not keep spinning on it. If that's helpful.
Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think people can understand and relate to what you're saying in the practical way, right? Because then it's like, oh, I do these things or I don't. And then they can connect better with the
Mhm.
practice that you're offering. And
Yeah.
so you have a cohort coming up next month.
Yes.
That's really exciting. You want to tell
Yes.
us about that?
Yeah. So we're gonna I'm gonna run some webinars called the Imposter Syndrome Antidote, and I will have information for Melanie to share soon. It won't be right away, but those will be coming up the end of August, beginning of September, and then we'll start the reset, is what it's called, and we rediscover your power and your purpose, your
Mm.
voice. Um, And that will start September 8th. So super excited about that. And that first month, you're really going to discover yourself and get that compass report so you can start off on the right foot and start rewiring your brain right away. So super excited about that. So it's coming up soon.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. We'll have to put the links in
Thank
the
you.
comments so people can find it easily and connect with you on participating for sure. That
Yeah,
sounds like a perfect journey for a better version of yourself, right?
yeah, yes, 100%, 100%. More
That's
calm, more
awesome.
confidence. Who doesn't want that?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
One question I always ask everyone is, what does one conscious love mean to you? What does comes to mind when I ask that question?
I think that's where it comes back to living that conscious life, where so often, or for me at least, it was kind of like you just lived. This is what we do. We check the box. It's rinse and repeat. It's like Groundhog Day, and it's a trance almost where we're not really living. And that one conscious love means we can wake up to the world that's around us, to the people that we love, and we can show up differently. We can show up for them, we can show up for ourselves, and not just kind of be robotic in what we do and how we do it. And so that's what that means to me, is that I can show up as my best self, as my true self, as my authentic self, um, and live that for my family and myself.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. It's such a gift when you're saying like you went back to your office and wrote 7 pages of everything that you'd done because that was your aha moment. Like, oh, wait a minute. I don't know what's happening here.
I
And
know.
so I hope that
Yeah.
not everyone has to go through these stressors to live that experience. I mean, ultimately, hopefully, people are realizing those aha moments in positive ways as well. But it does goes to show like how much you've transformed yourself and how much
Mm,
wanting to transform others. So it is really
yeah.
beautiful that you
Yeah.
had this experience in the end. Anything
Yeah.
else that you want to share with everyone watching?
No, this has been terrific. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to be in the network and learn and grow from what you do too. So thank you for that.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to have you, Jennifer. I could talk about this pretty much all day, but you did such a great job at
Okay,
explaining what you do. And
good.
so
Thank you.
thank you for joining me. And I look forward to having you again on the One Conscious Love Network. And
Wonderful.
so I will wait for that to happen with a lot of excitement. Thank you,
Awesome.
everyone, for
Thank you so
watching.
much. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Jennifer,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.